It's Halloween in July on an extra spooky episode of In Another World. Listeners, I am your host, Zacary Landolt, and I welcome you to an episode that is centered around something that I have been obsessed with ever since my awkward middle school years, which is the horror genre. Before I was old enough to even understand what I was looking at, I was watching teens getting slaughtered all the time, having my mom look at me as if something was going to be wrong with me, but she was just hoping for the best. Luckily, I turned out mostly fine. I am fine. Everything's everything's okay. But I haven't killed anyone, so that's I think I'm mostly okay. So I didn't think I could go into this obviously alone, but the question was who to discuss this with. And in my podcasting, you know, community building that I've been doing in the past few weeks, I stumbled upon a fellow LGBTQ podcaster who is also a huge horror fan. So he is going to be joining me for today's episode. I'm so excited for you to hear our talk. And why don't we stop wasting time and cut to the chase? Today's guest is the host of the LGBTQ-themed podcast Sunshine Steven and a fellow horror movie stan. We decided to do a pair of horror movie-themed crossover episodes, so when you're finished listening to our talk, you'll have to head over to his show, which is also out today, to hear us go into on this topic even more. Listeners, please welcome to In Another World, Stephen Rice.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm doing great in quarantine.
Yeah, we're doing our best.
It feels like a horror movie in real life.
Oh, I know. Everyone's like, "Oh no, American Horror Story is not going to get to come out in the fall." And I'm like, "Do we need American Horror Story this year?"
I'm like, we're living American Horror Story right now.
Yeah, life is taking care of that one for us. It's
Exactly.
gonna be okay.
Yeah, we're fine. Just go out. Well, no, don't go outside.
Don't do that and wear masks.
Yeah.
It's funny because I remember hearing that they were thinking about doing a season of American Horror Story that was about airborne diseases or stuff along that. Now I'm like, I think they probably won't do that.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't want to watch that. I could just turn on the news.
It's I'm actually not that sad about Handmaid's Tale not being able to come back this year because I just thought I barely want to watch Handmaid's Tale from how vicious it is just in general, but especially after this year. I'm not in a rush to watch a dystopian society where,
I
you know,
guess. Yeah. That's a good point, but I'm just so what's gonna happen? I want to know. But I feel like Handmaid's Tale, as much as I love it, I feel like it's
hmm
getting drug out a little bit.
Oh, same, agreed.
I'm like, all
Hard
right,
agree.
let's wrap this up.
Well, especially the end of last season when, spoiler alert, if you haven't
Yeah.
watched Handmaid's Tale, she doesn't even end up getting to go
Right.
to Canada, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Because
Like
I thought
homegirl.
because I thought she was gonna finally get out, but then the next season was gonna be about her trying to get people out
That's
also, like her.
I thought the same thing. I thought it was gonna be like an
Yeah.
Underground Railroad moment, but
Yeah, and I thought
no.
that'd be really exciting and a way to get her out of the same surroundings
Mhm.
for another season. Because also at this point, other than me just being bored with it plot wise, I also think the reality of it is not there because she would
Yeah.
absolutely have been killed by this point in the
Oh,
rules of this society.
yeah,
So
for
it's weird.
sure. Yeah.
I want one more season. If I could wrap it up in a season, I think I would think it was perfect. But I'm afraid it's gonna start overstaying its welcome,
Yeah.
like shows want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh, so what have you been watching or listening to lately?
So, watching wise, because we just got done with Pride, I
Mhm.
binged every gay or LGBTQ plus thing that I could. Definitely queer. I was happy Queer Eyes new season came out.
Mm.
Obsessed. So I watched that, and then me and my husband, we watched a lot of the bad, corny gay
Oh, yeah.
movies that you're like,
Oh, like which ones?
oh gosh. There was one, it was called Steam Room Stories.
Oh my god.
And it sounds like a porn, but it literally was about these it, it was so literally the plot of the whole thing was they found the fountain of youth in a gym that gay people go to,
Oh my god.
like, in the steam room, and so
Oh
this,
my.
like, quote, unquote, "has been" cosmetic lady is, like she gets her gay assistant to seduce another gay guy so he could get in with their crowd to
What?
steal yeah. But look, that's where
What?
we're at in the world with gay
When did this get made?
like, I wanna say in the last, like, maybe
N
2015, 16.
no. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
it's recent. It wasn't, like, 2000.
I thought it was some, like, 90s bad movie
No.
that I had not heard. Oh,
Yeah.
that's embarrassing.
It was like, oh, but that's where we are with I gay movies now. And, like, even
Yeah.
now, like, the popular, like, Call Me by Your Name, 2 heterosexual actors.
We know me and my roommate who's also gay, we were talking about this the other day, and he's like, "I don't know, what's the barometer of this? Because we didn't seem to have a problem with Call Me by Your Name, but we're bothered by, like, this movie." And I said, "I think it's about, are they a good enough actor that they actually
Mhm.
make me believe that there was homosexual desire in this
Right.
story?" And in Call Me by Your Name, I will say, if you had told me they secretly had a gay love affair during filming, I would have been like, "Oh yeah, that checks out, that
And
checks out."
okay. I haven't seen it because I'm like
I know it's so beautifully made that to me it's that plus how it reads so believable.
Yeah,
I give it a pass in my little gay brain because I
okay.
usually am bothered when like, oh look, another
Like,
pair of heterosexual males get nominated for Oscars for
yeah,
playing gay
Brokeback
men.
Mountain is I can't. I can't with Brokeback Mountain. I
Have you
watched
ever seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it, and gr I watched it, and I was like, there's one scene in particular, and I don't wanna get too graphic.
Oh, whatever. Oh, please. This is a
Okay,
we're safe
we're
space.
gay,
We talk
yeah.
about all kinds of shit.
The part where they're fucking in the tent, and he just, like,
Oh,
licks his hand and goes I said, "No,
no.
ma'am." I
No, ma'am. Like, that's not gonna feel nice. Like, granted, they do believably show it on Jake Gyllenhaal's face because he does
Yeah,
not look, to be
not yeah,
enjoying himself.
exactly, but I was just like, "This is no."
We know the difference between that and Call Me by Your Name is Call Me by Your Name has something that wasn't in Brokeback Mountain that I wanted, which is really tender love scenes that
Oh,
actually
good.
show, like, desire and love and romance,
See, that I could
whereas
get down to, yeah.
yeah, whereas because that's the thing, Call Me by Your Name is just like a beautiful utopian idea. Like, what if there was like an accepting family that allowed their son to like,
Right.
explore himself? It's just I mean, it's a little like slightly privileged in its
Yeah,
view, but it's
of
such a
course.
beautiful story that I'm kind of like,
Now I'm
what
gonna
are you
have to
gonna
watch
do?
it. I'm gonna have to watch it. I
I
do
think you should.
I did enjoy was it Freeform? They did the something about Harry, I think was the name of it. Did you ever watch that?
No. What is it?
It's like a rom-com I mean, done by a major network. It's a
Oh
rom-com, but
wow.
it's a gay couple, and at least one of the actors is gay. The other one's very questionable and hasn't commented on his sexuality, but I was like, "Mhm, girl, suspect."
Like if you turned out to be, I wouldn't be like
Yeah, I
shocked.
wouldn't be like, "Oh, no," but it was so good, and I was like, "Finally, we get, like, a gay rom-com that's
Yeah.
not all about" but I guess maybe well, no, I guess Call Me by Your Name, from what I've seen, it doesn't look like a rom-com, it looks more like a
No, it's
just
a
a
drama.
rom.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
drama. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
rom drama, but, like, this was a rom-com altogether, and I was just like, "Oh, this is nice," and for it to be on, like, a major network and on TV and stuff, I was like, "Look at us go," but then you have, like, right after that, 50 heterosexuals,
Oh,
like,
no, yeah, we get, like, the one.
you're
But
like,
it
"Oh,
is
great."
nice that kids nowadays could see, like, that, or they could see Love, Victor, there's
Yes.
more than we
Which
ever
is getting
had when
shade
we were
too,
younger.
though. Oh, yeah, for sure. I never thought. But I binged all of Love, Victor,
See, I
and
still haven't watched it.
I loved it, but I know it's getting a lot of hate because the character that plays the main gay character is
Mhm.
not gay, and I was like, "Oh, well, maybe" and so there's a running joke because they're like, "There's only, like, 1 gay person in this show," and I'm
Oh
like,
my
"Oh,
god.
great."
Yeah, it's always that debate of, like, do does a production need to be all gay performers if it's
Right.
about gay people? Because, then or gay performers wanna play straight
Straight,
sometimes, but
correct.
I think the thing is, like, I just think there needs to be more representation if they can find it, just because
Correct.
kids are still not used to seeing that. So it's just
Yeah,
nice to see it more.
it
Like, I
is,
don't think it's
yes.
like, if there's a cast of a show and there's a couple of straight actors also playing gay people, but there's still a predominant
Yes.
number of actual queer performers, I think I'm better with it.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, so tell the audience about your podcast, Sunshine Steven.
Oh, yes. So I started it in the wake of quarantine because
Mhm.
what else
I
are you gonna
relate.
do? Yeah, it's literally March 25th is when my first episode, and it was a wild ride because the
Hmm.
week before is when I don't know what state you live in. I live in North.
North Carolina.
Oh my god, so do I.
Yeah, yeah, and I thought you knew that.
I did not know. Clearly, I'm
Oh my
horrible at
god.
research.
I did my research.
Oh god, he's gonna like you're gonna here's your address, your social, your mother's maiden name. Oh my
I
god,
wouldn't
I'm
say that on camera or on I
on
always say on camera. There's no
camera.
camera on me. On mic.
No, on my oh gosh. Now well, okay, anyways. So I have more questions. I'm gonna research now. But it all started going downhill like the week of my birthday, which was March 20th.
Oh,
And
yeah, that is when all shit went down. Oh
yeah,
my
that's when
god.
it started going down, and like my work was like, okay, people need to go work from home, and I was like, okay. And but my husband was sent to Florida for his job.
Oh god.
Yeah, for a couple weeks, so I was alone for my birthday, and I was just like, oh gosh.
Oh.
Yeah, and it was super. I started watching. Oh gosh, on Apple TV. Oh, what's it called? It was like Out Now Visible or something like that. I feel bad. I'm butchering the name, but it's all about going back to what we were just talking about, queer
Mm.
representation in television and movies and how we've
Oh, wow,
progressed.
I need to watch that.
It is so good.
What's
There's
it
like
called?
I want to say it's Out.
Ooh, I'm gonna look that
Visit
up.
like it's so good, and it has a lot of good narrators.
Mhm.
But it goes back to like the beginning of like television and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How it was mainly gay people, drag, and everything was the quote unquote butt of the joke and everything.
Oh,
And
yeah.
now we've progressed and we have a lot more. And I was like, oh, I wish I could like school some baby gays and straight people on some gay stuff and also bring laughter and light and everything. But I've been thinking about doing a podcast for a couple years now because I
Mhm.
also am writing my memoirs, which are going to be hellacious.
Oh
Um,
my.
yeah, a lot of shit goes down. But I was like, oh, it would be nice and smart to build an audience with a podcast and then have a book come out, or vice versa. So I was just thinking about it, and then I went to go visit my husband for a week. And while he was working and I was working, like I would get off at 4:30, but he would have to work until like 6. So I had a couple hours, and I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just gonna start a podcast. And it was so like I felt like it was season 1 of RuPaul's Drag Race, like, low budget, all the shade, low
Oh, I
budget,
mean, I
like
feel that way about my show. I'm still like, Someday I'll listen to these episodes and go, hee hee hee,
yeah,
how silly."
literally how I feel. Yeah, I was literally, like, randomly placed. The only place that I could get where my dogs would leave me alone and it wasn't as much noise was in one of the closets, so
Oh,
I
yeah, I almost made my closet into my recording space.
literally, I've thought about it, but then I'm like, "Oh, that's too much." So, I sat in the closet and I only had, a pair of headphones and just went with it. And then now, of course, I got a mic and everything. But I've learned it's been a growing process. But I think it definitely started out as I wanted to like kiki and have fun with it. But now it's
Yeah.
starting to turn into a little bit of one of my friends said a listen and learn type of project, because some of the things that I'm talking about, like in my past episode, we just talked about, homelessness and poor people and everything like that. And um, all that, and like what we can do when we ate billionaires alive because they have all this money and they just sit there with it. And I'm like, oh, gross.
Yeah, you definitely get into, like, the important topics. It's a
Yeah,
very topical show.
I love it. And I already have haters, which I love. Like,
Oh, I want
that
haters.
That's okay. I'll make a fake profile and send you a awful thing. I literally got shade, like people being like, do you really hate gay people that voted for Trump?" And I'm like, "Yes."
Yes,
like,
yes.
like,
Yeah, I'm sorry, everyone's, like, so politically correct. I'm like, "No, I think
no.
that's despicable." I'll
Yeah,
say it. If
I
that makes
do.
someone not like me, then, like, I don't know what to tell you.
Correct. And that's how because at first I was like, I don't wanna put my views way out there. But then what started happening, with all the racism that has
Mm.
never gone away and is still a thing, I was like, now's the time to use, and again, I'm a white male too, so
Yeah.
there is some privilege, even though being gay gives you a little bit of a
But you
thing.
recognize where you're seeing it's
Correct.
stuff being abused, which I think is okay to say, like, "Hey, I've been noticing this." It doesn't
Yep.
mean that you know what the experience is like, but, like,
Correct.
for me, some of the most racist things I've heard have been from other gay men about
Yeah.
like, if I say, "Oh, here's this guy I'm talking to," and if he happens to not be white, they go, "Oh, wow, he doesn't seem like your type," and I'm like, "Well, what do you mean?
Right.
Like, what do
Yeah.
you mean not my type?"
Oh, I hate
Because
that.
I've been I've dated, like, Asian guys, black guys, Mexican guys,
Equal
like,
opportunist.
Filipino, like, I just to me, like, if they're cute and nice and funny, that's really my
Yeah.
set criteria. So it's just so weird when I would hear people, yeah, talk about, "I didn't think that was your type because it just sounds gross." Just,
Yeah.
ugh,
Oh,
ugh,
yeah.
ugh.
I almost like, I'm not a violent person, but I almost punched somebody once. This is why I don't really have a lot of gay friends, because he was literally talking, we were just talking and chit-chatting. We weren't super close, but, like, we've known each other, and I was like, this was a while back, like, a couple years ago when I was dating, and I was just like,
Mhm.
we were sharing like, "Oh, this is who I'm seeing," and he was like, "Oh," he was like, "Oh, he's cute for a black guy," and I was like, "What the fuck is that supposed to I was just
I've
like,
definitely heard that.
this I'm done here. Goodbye." Like, people are gross.
Ugh.
So, yeah, I was like, I'm gonna use my voice and continue to use it. So I just started to put it more in my podcast, and so far it seems to be going pretty well. So,
Yeah, I've genuinely, listened to it. I know I meet a lot of podcasters, and I tell a million people, like, "I'll listen to your show,"
yeah,
and I never don't mean it. It's just that there's so little time now with
correct,
all the
yeah.
editing and everything, but I have actually listened to your show, and I
Oh, well,
do enjoy
thank
it.
you. I have listened to yours, but I'll be completely 1000%. I've listened to 2 episodes.
But yeah, it's better than nothing.
Yeah, well, it's like right now, there's just a lot going on, and
Oh, yeah.
especially
Oh, please. I
like, yeah,
mean, that's why I tell people, I'm like, "I promise I'm not lying if I say I'll listen to your show." Like, I will
yeah,
at one point listen to it, but right now, especially for me, I'm just starting with my show,
mhm,
so I'm trying to, like, back catalog episodes so
same,
that I don't
yeah,
have to be, like, working around the clock. Because the first couple
correct.
weeks, I was doing too much.
That's
It
how I
was
yeah.
exhausting.
I've also been super engrossed with reading because 'cause I'm a nerd,
Mm.
and I do you read?
You know, I
That's a
always
no.
say I'm going to
That's a
read.
no. I can tell.
I used to be such a reader when I was a child, but something happened to me as I got older, and
I'll
I
tell you
don't
what it
know.
is. I'll tell you what it is because this happened to me, mama. So, all growing up, I loved reading. I always got, like, top reader, would always read.
Yeah.
Like, I would get in trouble, like, actively get in trouble. My mom would come in at, like, 1 o'clock in the morning and be like, "What are you doing up?" And I'm like, "Reading." And she's like,
Oh,
"Well,
no, same.
better than
We do those
doing crack
accelerated
or
reader
something."
tests and stuff.
Oh, I loved that shit. Oh,
Yeah,
I
and
was like,
I would tank up those points,
"Oh,
and
I
everyone hated
would.
me.
I'm getting that free
Yeah.
pizza party." Like,
Oh, yeah, I want that personal pan Pizza Hut pizza.
exactly. So I was always like that. But then from, like, high school to college to early adulthood, I didn't pick up a book unless it was, like, from a class or something, so I was, like, bitter.
Yeah.
I was like, "I wanna read what I wanna read. I don't wanna read this book or anything like that." But then I started because I had studied criminal justice and had to read a lot of, like, read about this child getting murdered and all this horrible stuff.
God.
So for a while, I was like, "I don't wanna read anything at all," so it scarred me, but now I'm just, like, so into it, but I have to give a shout out, my new favorite book of all time, it's Red, White, and
All
Royal
time,
Blue,
wow.
all time. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's the 2016 and 2020 that we deserved. There's a woman president, and her son falls in love with a prince in England, and they have a beautiful
Oh.
love story. And it gets scandalous. I feel like it's the gay, like 50 Shades of Gay, because it
Ooh,
gets
see, I want that.
scandalous. Oh, it's so. I was like, oh, I'm so tired of reading all these heterosexual, like, okay, like flip through the pages, like, oh,
I'm so sick of these, like, heterosexual,
mm,
salacious, like, 50
yes,
Shades of Grey, or what's that new one that's, like, the huge deal right now, where it's like, this guy holds this woman captive, and then she gets
what?
free. God, it's on Netflix or something? It's apparently it's, like, fucking crazy. Like,
That
like, supposed to be, like, notoriously awful,
that
but it's a
sounds
whole
awful.
trilogy of books.
Ew.
Yeah,
Like that
I have no I just,
yeah, I can't. Yeah, I'm tired of that, but this book is being made into a movie, so I'm like, "We're getting our 50 Shades of Gay."
cool.
I'm so
Oh,
excited.
oh,
Eh,
that's very
but
exciting.
they better because, I mean, they were it was scandalous in some parts, like, I would
Oh,
read and be
my.
like, "Oh." it went there. Like, oh, okay. So
You
I'm
know
here
what?
for it.
The heteros get all of their sex scenes. It's time for
Correct.
us to get some more, and that's gonna be
Exactly.
okay.
And yes, I'm here for it. But yeah, so more of the story, I will try to listen to more podcasts. I just really I just couldn't put that book. I finished it in like 4 days. Like
Oh my
it was
how many pages?
like 400 and something.
That's a lot to me, yeah.
Like
The only
a little.
the only books I still read, I do like reading biographies. That's,
Oh,
like,
okay,
the
good.
one thing.
I
Like,
thought you were gonna be like
if it
Goosebumps.
no, not like that. But, like, I remember when, Amy Schumer
Oh,
released
yeah.
hers, and, like, I read Anna Kendrick's, I read, God, I read a whole bunch. I read a lot of those. So I'm always on the lookout for like a biography. But then also now I'm even lazier. And if I find out they're also gonna do a book on tape where the author just reads the book, I'm like, well, I'd rather hear them read it.
Oh my gosh. Well, if anything, Jonathan Van Ness is over the top. That should be
Oh, I heard that's great.
it's so good, and he does do the Audible too.
Oh, lovely, lovely.
Yeah.
But see, yeah, because then I go, well, I'd rather hear their voice saying it.
Yeah, and who
But
doesn't love Jonathan Van Ness's voice? Like, read to me.
yes. So I do a segment with all of my guests called Your Birth in Pop Culture,
I'm so
which is where
excited.
I take your birth date and I tell you pop culture related facts connected to your date of birth. I'm gonna say the numbers on the air. Is that okay?
Oh, my birthday? Yeah. Try to steal my
You never know.
identity.
You could be
I
trying to
won't even
pass for like 20.
yeah, no, I'm like yeah, go for it. I don't think I passed this 20 though.
So, so the date into pop culture was March 20th, 1993. The number one movie at the US box office was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3.
In their darkest hour, come four brave fighters from another time, another place, another species. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3.
Help, I'm a turtle and I can't get up.
Oh, okay.
And the number one song on the Billboard Hot 100 was a song I've never heard of
What?
called Informer by the band Snow.
Farmer, you know, say that I'm a snowman, I go glam. I like it boom boom down. Take the man that say that I'm a snowman, stop somewhere down the lane. I like it boom boom down. Informer, you know, say that I'm a snowman, I go glam. I like it boom boom down. Take the man that say that I'm a snowman, stop somewhere down the lane. I like it boom boom down.
Anything?
No. Who's
Yeah,
the
same.
band Snow?
I like I don't even know what this is.
Oh, that's
I usually
bad. Like,
I
come
usually put
on.
a clip in after I tell what the song is, so you'll finally know what it sounds like when you listen to this.
Okay, good. Because I'm like, oh, damn, I was hoping for like a pop star moment, but okay. I
No, I
mean,
know, I'm so
watch
sorry.
me
I was
listen
so
to it.
disappointed
I
for you. I went,
know.
"Oh,
Watch me
like
listen to it, like, oh
Snow."
my god, I love this song.
Well, I have looked up songs for people in the past and been like, "Oh, this actually is kind of a good song."
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then my brain goes, "Well, yeah, it was number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100."
duh. Yeah, true.
So, we're gonna take a little break, and when we get back, we're gonna dive into the horror genre.
Yay.
Okay, and we're back, and we, of course, are here to talk about horror movies and why we both love them.
Yes. They're the
Yes.
best. Yes. I'm like, I'm
So,
making
when did you get into horror movies? Were you young?
oh, I was a baby.
Oh,
Okay.
how young?
Well, not like I didn't come out of the womb like, "Oh, let me watch Freddy Krueger," but
Oh, yeah, that'd
might
be
as well
weird.
have been, yeah. No, I think it looking back, 'cause I did a lot of soul searching for this. I take this stuff very
Mhm.
seriously. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
went back and thought, and I was like, baby Steven always had an obsession with, like, something that was supernatural or
Mhm.
slightly scary even for a child. So I
Yeah.
I wrote a list of telltale signs that I was
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
be obsessed with horror, and I think the how many do it? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 main things that made me
Oh,
go,
please, yeah.
yes, Buffy the Vampire Slayer,
Same. The
obsessed.
movie or the show?
The show. The movie isn't that bad,
It's
but
not that good, but I loved it when I was a
yes,
kid. I thought it was still, like,
yes.
badass.
It's so yeah, like Buffy. is amazing, such a
Mm.
icon, and then
Yeah, I'm doing an
Charmed.
episode on it in a little
Shut
bit.
up.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
It's, like, one of my number ones. Like, it
Oh,
is
same. It was the first show I was, like, truly obsessed with.
same. It was
Yeah.
like I was like, "I wanna be Sarah Michelle Gellar running in these
Oh, yeah, I wanna
roles,
be her so bad.
killing."
I still do.
Yeah, I mean, Angel, Spy I mean, come on. Who you get 2 hot
Yeah.
vampires after you, like, "Oh, no. Poor me." Like,
Oh my god.
yeah, and then, Charmed, the original, of course.
Mm. Yeah,
Obsessed, um,
yeah,
so good, and Hocus Pocus,
yeah,
duh, which
yeah, we're
actually
gay. Yeah.
came out in 1993, which makes me feel super old.
Oh, you were born into it.
Yeah, I was literally yeah, it was yeah, and I'm excited for a sequel, but they better have the regular
If the original
original
3 are
cast.
not in the movie,
I
I'm
don't want
going to think,
yeah,
"Why are you making this?" Like,
I don't
no
want
one
any part
wants
of
to
it.
watch this.
Yes,
Yeah, no.
and then the last one, and I'm just realizing I have obsession with witches, The
Mhm.
Craft.
I loved The Craft.
Obsessed.
Oh, I thought I was Wiccan because of The Craft. I
Same,
remember
I
I,
was
like
like, "I have powers."
yeah, like, I remember I went to the new age section of the bookstore and got basically, like, Wiccan 101. It was it was a whole thing. I started wearing all black to middle school, and all the kids were like, "What
Same.
is he doing?" Because I wasn't even, like, authentically goth or
God,
anything. I was
same.
just doing what I
Oh,
thought looked hip.
I did the same thing. I would wear black, and then I also I had a chain wallet. Do you remember those?
I did too.
Oh
I
my
did
g
too.
I was living my best fantasy, and I was like, "Let me put
Oh.
some herbs together."
I remember there's this tragic story where there was this
Gosh.
floor length or like near floor length pleather coat, black pleather coat that I needed because it looked just like Firouzja Balk's coat from The Craft. My mom was like, "It's a very expensive coat. Are you sure you want that coat?" I'm
Yes.
like, "Yes, mom, it's what I want." So she finally gets me this coat. I know it was like a lot of money. I wear it to school the first day, and I was walking down the hallway,
You're like,
and I'll never
"Oh."
forget this kid's voice in my head. This kid just goes, "Nice coat." And I instantly went, "Oh god, I can't
I
I
had to
can't
think
wear this
about
coat." And I just stuffed it in my locker, and then my mom one day said, "Why do I never see you wearing that
you're like,
coat?"
"Oh, it was so popular, somebody stole it."
It's just funny how, like, in middle school, you can have all the confidence in the world, and all it takes is, like, one awful kid
One,
to be like,
yeah,
"Nice coat."
yeah,
And you're like,
kids are
"Oh, never mind."
assholes. Yeah, totally. I'm obsessed
Oh.
with her, by the way, random sidebar, and if I do that too much, just somebody shut up. Uh,
Oh, I love a sidebar.
okay, my favorite movie of all time is The Wizard of Oz, which again has, like, a
Oh, mine.
supernatural I mean, there's a
It does.
witch, like, talking like, not talking monkeys, talking scarecrows, flying monkeys and shit, but,
I did fly.
little known most people don't know this, that there was actually a sequel to The Wizard of Oz,
Yep,
and it starred what
yep.
say her name again? Because I don't wanna butcher it.
Veruza Balk.
Yes, and it's
That movie's insane.
insane. It's on Disney Plus now for y'all that are
It's
listening.
on Disney Plus.
It is because it's owned by Disney. It was a Disney.
Oh, right, because it's very dark. It
It's
starts with
so
her, like, in
dark.
a mental institution getting, like, shock
Correct.
therapy. It's really crazy.
And the evil queen switches out heads
Oh my
throughout the movie.
well, and the Wheelers were
Oh my god.
terrifying when I was a
So
child.
and so it kills me because people are like, "The Wizard of Oz scared me as a kid because the monkeys were the witch," and I'm like, "Bitch, look at the
And then
sequel."
nothing.
Like, that is
Hell, even the characters we're supposed to love, I still thought they scared me a
creepy.
little bit.
Yeah.
Like, that huge was it Jack Skellington or whatever? Or not Jack Skellington, but, like, Jack Pumpkinhead.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
He fucking terrified me.
yeah. Creepy. And plus I was like, where's Toto?" Like,
Yeah,
I don't
where
want a
is
fucking
Toto? What's going
chicken.
on?
Like, this is yeah. Anyways, but she starred in that. She was a baby, but
She was a baby.
yeah.
She was very a '90s actress, like, I
She
remember thinking,
was.
"Yeah, she's it," and then she kinda just went nowhere.
Yeah, there's actually a horror movie, and I can't remember because it wasn't memorable,
Mhm.
that we watched a while back, and she was in it. But it's,
Oh,
like,
Fairuza Balk?
recent.
She was in it?
She was in what?
Oh, and I just
Oh,
meant Fairuza Balk, it was
yeah, yeah,
her.
yeah. Oh, I thought you said a movie
Oh,
name.
no.
She
She makes sense for horror, I mean, I'd
she
love for her to
totally
do more horror.
does.
She has the face for it.
I wanna say it was Hulu.
Oh, they have all sorts of horror shit.
They do, and I remember the premise of it was, like, a whole bunch of people We're renting a house, and she shows up and is like very cuckoo cuckoo,
Oh god.
and then gets in an altercation and gets murdered. I'm gonna have to
Oh,
look it up.
spoiler alert.
Yeah, sorry, but I mean it's no big deal. Yeah, but she was in it, and I was just like, oh my god, like I know who that is, and my
Well,
husband was
speaking of
like,
Hulu horror movies, I just watched, it's called The Lodge. Have you seen this?
no, but I keep seeing the like the recommended. It's there.
Yeah, I won't tell you anything about it because it had a fucked, plot. Like, it did not go the place I thought it was going,
Oh
so
gosh,
I
I love movies like that though.
well, here's the thing, it's a weird movie where, like, me and my roommate both talked about this. We were like, "I liked it, but I also don't know if I, like, would recommend it, but I
Mm,
guess I liked it." It's just, like, weird, like, I there are parts of it I think are brilliant and other parts where it felt like it just needed, like, to be 20 minutes shorter, like, they spent,
yeah,
like, too much time with this one plot line,
true.
but I do think it's worth seeing at least, though, because it really at least had something fresh to say, and also, it had one of my favorite '90s icon actresses in the first part of the movie. It had Alicia Silverstone from Clueless.
Shut up. Oh, I have to
Yeah,
watch
and I would, like I remember she showed up, and I was like, "That actress looks just like Alicia Silverstone," and then I kept looking at her face, and I went,
that.
"Wait,
Is.
I I think that's Alicia Silverstone."
I'm obsessed with her. I
She
love
was great, like, it wasn't a very, like, big part, but she was very, very good. I was like, "Go you,
I
go
feel
show Horowitz."
Yeah, I feel like a lot of 90 actors and actresses now are so
Mhm.
like, "Bitch, I got my coin. I don't have to do much," but, like, once in a while, they get small parts or whatever just to be like, "Yo, bitch, I can still do the thing," but they're just
Yeah.
focusing on them and their family, and I was mad respect to that, but at the same time, I'm
Oh,
also
sure.
like, "Can we get another Clueless?" Like,
Oh my god, like or like
Cher
I
has
always
a
want
daughter.
I want Sarah Michelle Gellar to get like more work. Like she's such an
Yes.
amazing actress on Buffy.
Yes. I love her so much.
What's funny is like of course we love Buffy, it's so iconic, but I found out later that it pretty much like ruined her film career because
Oh,
she
yeah.
turned down so many like great parts that were offered to her because she couldn't do them because of Buffy.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
she turned down, I think they wanted her for like Gangs of New York, they
Yep.
wanted her for Fight Club,
Yep.
for like a couple other things. I'm like, damn.
I think it's really hard in general when somebody plays a role for that long, and
Yeah.
it's so hard for them anything you're gonna see them in, like her, anytime I see her, I'm like, "Okay, it's Buffy." I'll never forget, like, Daniel
Yeah.
Radcliffe, anytime I see him, I'm like, "Oh, Harry Potter." Like, it's so hard for
Well, especially if it's like a fantasy or an
them. Mhm.
action themed
Exactly.
show, I think it's even harder.
Yep. 'Cause that's already a niche within itself, so it's like, "What are you doing, Harry Potter? You should be fighting Voldemort right now." Like,
Right, like if I see Sarah Michelle Gellar just playing like a mom that's like drinking a glass of wine in her kitchen, I'm like, you
no, ma'am.
saved the world. Like,
Yeah,
what are you
no, ma'am.
doing?
Like, waiting for a vampire to pop out and try to steal her wine. She doesn't
Yeah.
spill it and kills him.
I always thought that maybe Joss Whedon was gonna try to get her into the like Avengers universe somehow, like
Right.
in some sort of role. Cause I think
Fashion, yeah.
she could do something great.
I think so too. Ugh.
Cause look at all those like fights she had to do on that show. Cause she did a
Exactly.
lot of the fight choreography.
And she's still in, like, impeccable shape.
Oh, she's barely aged. There was this picture
Oh,
that was posted a couple years ago where it was her, Selma Blair, and Reese Witherspoon, and honestly, all
they
3 of
all
them
I
are
was
like,
gonna say
they
they all
look
look the
exactly the same.
same.
Exactly the same. Like, Reese Witherspoon, it's so weird, like, she'll play, like, her character on Big Little Lies where she's supposed to be, like, early 40s, and I'm like, "Okay, I guess that's fine."
Lies.
But then she was on The Morning Show, and I was like, "She could be 32 in this." Like, she looks so
Exactly.
young. Like, it's crazy.
100%.
Ugh. So, what were the first type of horror movies that you got into when you were a kid? Because for me, it was like slasher movies, like the Scream
Same.
movies or
Yep.
Halloween.
I
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
have written down, like, it was the slashers. It was the Freddy Krueger, Jason movies, Friday the 13th, Chucky.
Oh yeah.
I wanna say, though, the first movie, which I shouldn't have watched, was Scream, like, the first,
Yeah,
like,
same. Oh, I was so
kill.
terrified when
I
I
was
first
so
saw it.
terrified, and, like, I was really it's funny now because I can watch movies and I don't get scared by them. I just love the art of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I get spooked a little bit, but not like when I was a kid. I'll never forget, I watched, Pet Sematary. It fucked
God.
me up. It fucked me up
Oh God.
so bad. Never forget, my mom was working and my 2 older sisters were babysitting, and they let me watch it, and then, like,
Mhm.
I was petrified. They had to call one of our neighbors to come settle me down because I just kept crying and screaming, and my mom was so mad, like, "Why would y'all let him watch that?" Now I watch it and I'm like, "Oh, these effects are different."
Yeah, it's funny when you're a child what's, like, terrifying, like, just, like,
Mhm.
truly horrible. Not to circle back, but just because it was such an important integral thing. I was obsessed with the Scream trilogy when I was
Oh,
younger. Like, those were my movies. Like, I
I'm
would be, like,
still obsessed.
researching the sequels online between, like, production, like, I was obsessed.
I'm still obsessed, and I'm ready for the 5th one.
God, I still think the opening scene of the first Scream movie is maybe one of the
The
best
best.
scenes in
It
horror,
set
like,
the
history.
blueprint. To me, it set the blueprint.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Is that the one where the guy had knives for fingers?
Yeah, Freddy Krueger.
Freddy, that's right. I like that movie. It was scary.
Well, the first one was, but the rest sucked.
So, you got a boyfriend?
Why? You want to ask me out on a date?
Maybe. Do you have a boyfriend?
No.
You never told me your name.
Why do you want to know my name?
I want to know who I'm looking at.
What did you say?
And I don't want to skip ahead because I know there's favorite films on the list, but like
But, whatever, it's yeah,
it's
there's
there.
no rules.
Okay, good. Because that screen, I love them. So I actually, the one
Oh,
episode, well, I did 2 episodes with my friend Kelsey.
mhm.
Loves the gay, so she's probably going to be your number one supporter when she listens to this. And
Great.
she's obsessed with Scream as well. And I gave a whole rundown of how I think Scream 5 should go. Like,
Okay, this is good to know because part of your game later in the episode, there was a subcategory that was all Scream,
oh, good.
characters. I
Oh,
was worried you might not be, versed enough in Scream, so it's
oh
good to know that you
no,
are.
obsessed
Yeah,
with
good.
Scream.
Well, I was really always into the women in horror movies. I don't know if
Same.
you were the same way because
No,
I loved Nev Campbell so much.
so freaking much. The most iconic scene is when she calls the killer's bluff and she goes out on the porch and she's like, "What am I doing?"
Yes.
Picking her nose, and I'm like, "Yes, bitch, you don't be no scared no man." Like, it
Oh,
was so good.
the scene I loved with her was at the end where she tricks the killer into not
Oh,
knowing
yeah,
she's in the closet and then stabs him
yeah.
with the umbrella through the
Umbrella,
closet.
which I don't
Oh,
think could ever happen, but okay.
no. But I remember being like, "Fuck yeah, stab him with the
Yes,
umbrella."
yeah, and it just
Oh,
continued. Like, I know Scream. Oh, which one was the Hollywood one? So Scream
oh,
3.
the 3rd.
Yeah, where people were like, about it, but I still liked it. I thought
Oh, yeah, I mean, I recognize it's the least
correct.
good of the first 3, but I
Yeah.
still was very entertained by it.
Did you like the 4th one?
So I have thoughts on the 4th one if you wanna hear them.
Of course.
So they had said they were setting up like a new trilogy and it was gonna be a whole new spin on the
Mhm.
franchise. And I thought I saw where it was going and it didn't go quite this
Right.
way. So when Emma wait, no, what's her name? Emma Roberts. Yeah, I was gonna say Emma Watson. I'm like, not Emma
Like,
Watson.
no, that's Hermione Granger.
Oh my god. No, but when Emma Roberts was revealed, spoiler alert,
Yeah,
here's the thing, guys, we're talking about horror movies, and
yeah,
so if we start talking about a movie, we're probably gonna talk about the killer and stuff. So
correct.
spoilers, just going ahead. But when she's revealed to be the killer, I thought what was gonna happen is that she actually does kill Sydney, and it
Same.
ends with her looking like the hero.
Yep,
And then in the sequels, it would be like dramatic irony that we know she's the killer, but everyone
yep,
else doesn't. But then no, it just turned out that she died.
same.
So I still enjoyed it. It was great to just see all of them back in the franchise.
Correct.
So honestly, I probably would have loved almost anything,
Yep.
but I thought it was clever enough. I liked the opening where it was the fake out within the fake out within the
Yes,
fake out. I'm excited to see a fifth one, especially because it sounds like they are trying to still connect to the original
yep,
characters and not just reboot the whole thing.
yes. Yeah,
But
because
what are your thoughts on a fifth one? You said you had like a whole idea.
oh, I do. I think it should be, no pun intended, I feel like it needs to be they kill it. Like, it's done, like, the last one.
I'd like that. Yeah.
And then go with if they wanna branch off because they had that the Scream, the television show that MTV did.
Yeah. I never watched it.
It was good, but don't go into it thinking it's completely a different story, different
I heard it
everything.
didn't even have the Ghostface killer costume.
Nope, it did not.
And
Like,
that's insane to me. That's like the reason to do it.
yeah, yeah, so
Like, why even call it Scream if they're not gonna wear the
correct.
costume?
You should have just called it, like I don't know. They should like it was a spinoff. It wasn't even a
Sure.
reboot. It wasn't
But
anything.
just have it they just happen to wear the same costume, you know what I mean? Like, that's, like, the only connection. I
Yeah,
just think it
correct.
needed that costume. Maybe it's a little
Something.
dramatic, but I
Yeah.
don't know.
But I don't know. But Scream 4, I love too, like you said. And also, I didn't realize that Alison Brie was her publicist.
Yes, I rewatched it recently, and I didn't know who a lot of these people were at the
I
time, so now
know.
I'm like, "Oh, look who it
I
is."
was like, I love her. Okay, girl.
Yeah.
My thought, and again, I go into this with Kelsey, my friend,
No.
is the opening scene kill off
Mhm.
kill off either Gail or Dewey. And I think
I thought you were gonna say Sydney. I'm like, "You can't kill Sydney in the first 5 minutes, I won't
no,
try it."
but I'm
I
leaning
say
more.
kill Dewey.
That's what I said because we
Like,
talked about this.
actually kill him, like, definitively he's dead.
Definitely, he's dead. Like fucking chop his head off or something.
No, yeah, like, something shocking where it's like, "Oh, he's fucking
Oh,
dead."
he's
Like,
dead,
he's
dead,
like,
girl.
and really shock the audience.
Correct. So I think that
Yeah,
would
so
be
they're uneasy.
yeah, great opener. But that also, I think that they should bring back Kirby because we never saw her
Mm.
die, and
No,
that
yeah, she could be alive.
yeah, totally could be like. I mean, look at Dewey survived. Like he was supposed to die in the first movie,
Do you know that, oh god oh my god.
David Arquette.
How am I not thinking of this character's name?
Oh,
Um, not Stu, the nerd, oh my god.
no.
Randy, god, I was gonna lose my mind.
Yeah, Jamie Kennedy.
I heard that originally he almost came back for the 3rd one, and it was gonna be that he had never died in the 2nd movie.
Oh, that's he clearly died in the second
No, yeah,
movie,
and
though.
well, they even have like, "Oh god, I need to call his parents." I'm like, "Yeah, because he's dead." Like, he's
Yeah,
yeah.
there's no
I
way.
think they realized that was a more convoluted way to bring him back, so they
Correct.
did the thing where he recorded his,
His if you're watching
testimony to be
this,
played
yeah,
later,
exactly.
which was still great.
It was, but I think Kirby could totally come back. Like you never
Oh, please give us Kirby.
yeah, so I think that she should come back, and then of course Ghostface is back, and you don't know who it is. And I'm all about a plot twist. So I think it should be a
Mhm,
plot twist to where there's a copycat killer. But
mhm.
then Sydney Prescott just snaps and she's like, I'm fucking over this. So she becomes Ghostface and kills off Gail and kills off like everybody. She's like, this is ending here with me now. And she kills all these people off. And then has whoever the original killer was and whoever, I don't know, I haven't
Mhm.
gotten that far yet. They have a big fight at the end. And then in my mind, the cinematic beauty of them like shoving Sydney Prescott like from stairs or something, and then she gets impaled with something, but she lets out one last scream, but she like dead. So like, oh, she dead. So you have
Oh
to so
my.
like you're starting fresh. If you want to scream 6, it's fresh because I think 5 is a good limit because I feel like I love the Nightmare on Elm
What a
Street.
sad ending for her, though.
It is, but like you
It's
gotta
dark, I'll give you
yeah,
that, it's
you
dark.
gotta let it, be done, you
You
know?
know what I thought was the mistake in the 4th one? Was when they made you think that Gail had died, and I thought like,
Oh,
"Oh, wow, what a twist," but then she was fine, and I was
she
like,
was
"Oh,
totally
man."
fine, and was
Yeah, 'cause,
like
like, that's not as exciting.
yeah, I was not hoping well, kind of hoping, like,
Well, it kind of was, I wanted, like, to be, like,
one of
shocked
the
by
main
something.
yeah, that's the thing, I was like, "Oh, this is predictable, they're all gonna be one happy family at the end," like, kill off one of the main
I think
characters.
someone should have died from the 3rd one.
Correct, too, like
Like, it seemed really convenient that they were all just, like, chill again.
yeah, exactly, I'm like, okay," like
Though, I know I heard that originally the 3rd movie had a very different plot, and it was a
same.
lot darker, and then they retooled it because of, like, it was after Columbine, I
Yeah,
think that was what it
Columbine, yep.
was, and so, yeah. And I always wonder how
How different
different
it
it
would
would have
have
been.
been, yeah,
Yeah. You
definitely.
know who actually is my favorite? It's my favorite, like, revealing of a killer scene from a horror movie when I was a kid. Have you ever seen the movie Urban Legend?
Oh, yes, but it's been so long.
Well, it's like the whole movie, you're like, "Who is this killer? Like, who is trying to kill all these people?" And it turns out to be Rebecca Gayheart, who played, like, the best friend named named Brenda,
Of course.
and she just, like, has a whole she was is revealed to be the girlfriend of this guy that the main character killed when she was in high school, and she just gives this crazy monologue that I could almost do word from word, like if someone asks
I
me to right
love
now.
yes, that's oh, I need to rewatch. I haven't seen that in so long, but I'm all about a
I
good
just remember a part
twist.
where, like, it's, Rebecca Gayheart with her big, crazy curly hair, and
Yes.
it's her hair is, like, huge like a lion's mane, her eyes are so huge,
I
and
wish she
then
did more stuff too.
oh, I know. I remember the main girl's like, "You need help," and then she's like, "I have already tried therapy. Obviously, it did me no good, Natalie." And she just has, like, her head shoved between the bars and her huge eyes bulging out of her head, and I thought, "This is so campy
I
and over
love
the
it.
top, but I'm here for this."
Yes. I think
Ugh.
now you're making me think of, I know one movie that fucked me up with
Oh god.
the ending and, like, oh, shit, did not see it coming.
Oh god.
Did you ever see that movie, The Uninvited?
No, I've still never seen that.
Well, damn, now I can't say anything.
I've been it came up when I was looking for a horror movie the other night, and so is it good though?
It is one of my favorite of
Okay, I
all
can never tell based
time.
on how things are advertised anymore, so I always ask people themselves.
Because I am usually one that can, because I've seen so many, I know the
Mhm.
narrative. So I'm like, that bitch is the killer. I knew Emma Roberts was going to be the killer. I was like, I already
Oh,
know.
it dedefinitely yeah, about halfway through the movie, I
I
went
was
like,
like,
"I feel like it's her."
but I loved it because I love how crazy she went at the end, like running into the picture frame and everything.
And
Like,
actually, like, stabbing herself,
I
like,
was
I
like,
was like, "Oh,
okay,
fuck,
girl.
bitch."
This movie completely like, I was like, bitch, what? And then
Oh, wow.
it's one of those movies where you watch it once and you're like, I have to rewatch this. And then you rewatch and you're like, oh, yeah, it makes sense now.
Yeah, I kind of wanna do that with The Lodge because, yeah. Actually, do you know what was a really great movie for rewatching? Actually, both movies by this director, but when I rewatched Midsommar from
That's on my
'cause
list.
yeah, because rewatching the whole thing is so much
So
it's so interesting how many, clues it gives you the
clues.
entire movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a mind fuck. It was so
Oh,
good.
the first 10 minutes of Midsommar could be its own movie. It's
Correct.
just truly
Cinematic.
nuts.
Yes.
That thing, like, slapped me across the face, essentially, like,
Literally,
in terms of
like,
narrative.
it was so oh my god, and yes, I'll get into that more later because that's
Oh, sure,
down on my
yeah.
list, yes. So
So,
to be
who were some
continued.
of your favorite scream queens when you were younger?
Okay, so I have my top 3, and I feel like
Mhm,
it's a very even though they're all timeless to me, it's a
mhm.
very generational thing, so I'll start with
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis,
Ah,
of course.
mhm.
Halloween is a great instead we don't talk about, Halloween was it 3? Where
Oh, no, the
the
Disconnected, it's not even about the rest of the thing.
yeah, we don't talk about that one.
Season of the Witch, yeah, no, no.
Yeah, but
You
then
know what movie I love that some people hate on is Halloween H2O, like, I
oh,
loved
so
that movie when I
good,
was a kid.
yes.
I thought that was so fucking cool the way they brought it full circle with her
So
again.
good, yeah, but
Yeah,
it kills
yeah.
me because then it's like, the Halloween that came out in 2018 was like, "JK, this is really
Yeah,
the second
but then I
one."
was so happy with how good it was, I was kind of like,
Correct, that I
"Okay, that's
was
fine,
like
that's fine."
yeah, and I'm ready for the next one, and she was in,
Oh, same.
Prom Night, she was in Scream
Terror Train?
Queens, yeah, yeah, so love her, and then next, of course, Sarah Michelle Gellar. You had Buffy, you had Scream 2, Cece.
Yeah, Cece.
I remember watching that and being like
"Cece, he sounds drunk,
yeah,
don't go over there."
and being like, "Y'all are not gonna throw Buffy the Vampire Slayer off of a fucking balcony." Like,
I was very oh, and also, yeah, she was in I Know What You Did Last Summer.
yes, I was gonna say, yeah, that was iconic to me, but now that I'm older, I'm like, "How do you not wake up from somebody chopping your hair off, girl? Like, what's
Oh,
going on?" But
my thing is when she died in that movie, I remember being actually, like, upset,
I
like,
was upset, so
yeah.
upset. I was like, I probably cried, and then
No, I think I did cry.
I definitely cried, but then watching it now, I'm like, that character, not Sarah Michelle Gellar,
Yeah, yeah.
but that character, I was like, "Bitch, you stupid," because she stops
Oh,
and then looks behind her. "Bitch,
yeah.
keep running. You see a parade of people, keep
Oh, I
running."
know.
Like,
It just killed me that she was so close to,
so close.
safety, and you're like, "No."
Yes, please don't yeah, she poor girl. And then my last one, Emma Roberts. I'm obsessed.
She's a top 3 for you.
I know because she's so like, it's crazy, and I think it's because her work in American Horror Story, because of course she was in Scream
Oh,
Queens, she was in
she is
Scream.
great on that show.
But in American Horror Story, she could go from, like, playing one season the bitch that you're like, "God, I hope she dies. I hope she gets murdered," to being like the, "Oh my god, I feel so bad for her." The 1984, I was like, "Oh my
Oh
god,"
god.
like, and then
And
she
then
was
they even gave her interesting stuff to do. I was happy what they did with her
yes,
character.
exactly, and then it was growth, and I was just like, "Oh, I love, 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 love," and I love Sarah Paulson, but no
Ugh.
tea, no shade, but she's like the same, she's just crying and screaming in every single.
I nearly stopped watching Cult because the first 2 episodes was her like, "Oh my
Yeah,
god,
exactly,
ah!" And it's just like,
exactly.
I can't."
Go to hell, Huffington Post! I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
100%.
Please.
Yeah, those are
Yeah.
my top 3 though.
For me, my top 3 are it's very close to yours. Mine's, like, Jamie Lee Curtis, of course,
Yeah.
in the Halloween franchise. Then I actually have Jennifer Love Hewitt in the
Yes.
I know because I just think she has such a great scream.
Yes.
And she even though, like, yes, Jennifer Love Hewitt is not maybe the most amazing actress, but she somehow makes those ridiculous plot lines
Yes.
seem somewhat weighted in reality.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Neve Campbell, because I think
Oh, yeah. The
she was I
top.
was like, Sydney I love the evolution of Sydney's style, like,
Yeah.
where she had the, like, red, almost like it was, like, black, black, black. It was, like, almost like a
With
bob
red,
haircut in
yeah.
the second one, and then it was, like, longer in the third and just, I thought she was the most beautiful woman in the world when I
Yes.
was a child. I wanted to see everything she was in.
I do. I love her, but I just wish that she did more horror.
Oh, same. I know she was on House of Cards, and apparently she was very good, but I just
Yeah.
never watched it.
Alright, I also totally forgot Sarah Michelle Gellar was in The Grudge, which was
Right!
iconic
I
as
always forget about
well.
that.
Ugh,
I forget about that.
I know. I guess for me, I picked a lot of girls that they've been in multiple, not just, like, one.
Oh, that's even better if you can
Yeah,
get it.
yeah, so I'm like,
I just remember if I was thinking, like, I just realistically, who were my favorite ones to watch, I know
yeah,
it was like,
oh,
well, I
100%.
I I watched I Know What You Did Last Summer so
Same.
many times when I was a kid, like and then I was
I
obsessed
mean,
with Brandy, so then when she was in the second
oh my
movie, I went, "Well, this is the perfect movie."
I used to okay, this is really dorky. I used to recreate the glass house scene in my backyard, live in my fantasy as a child, and was just like, this is like to me, I was like, that's so scary to be on top of nothing but glass. And then
Oh my
like
god.
that was wild to me. And then also the first one, I mean, Ryan Philippine, who doesn't want to
Oh
watch? Ray
my
Prince
god.
Jr., like, come on. As a
Because I
small,
remember when Ryan Philippe is at the gym and
oh,
he's all sweaty, and I was
yeah.
like, "Oh my god, I'm
You're like,
so
there's
gay."
murder and hidden things for little gay boys.
Oh, yeah, because like,
Oh,
Jennifer Love Hewitt, her boobs were just, like,
oh my
flopping
god.
around the whole movie, and I'm like,
Oh,
"No,
yeah.
those look beautiful," but then
Yeah,
he's
I
like,
love that, and then you're
ugh.
like, "Oh, I have to watch the Sour Scene again, I didn't hear what he said."
Oh, I was into Ryan Philippe because he was in that, he was in Cruel Intentions,
Cruel
which I he was I
Intentions,
got to see his butt in that one,
yeah,
and then he was in 54, the, like, Studio 54 movie,
mhm,
so, yeah, he was a very key, early male
yeah,
sexual
exactly,
object when I was a kid.
100%.
Freddie Prinze Jr., I could just even as a child, when I was a stupid little, acne-covered child, I still would look at Freddie Prinze Jr. and go, "He's a bad actor." So I just never found him as cute because I thought he was a bad
He's not a
actor.
bad actor, but he's beautiful.
Yeah, he's not that great of an actor, but he is very cute. I will give him
He
that.
still is beautiful. Him and Sarah Michelle Gellar
Oh
have
my
been together
god.
all this
Their
time.
their children are gonna be
Oh,
beautiful.
yeah. I feel like the key to their marriage, though, is they keep it very under wraps. Like, you
Oh,
don't
yeah,
know
that
much
seems like
about
that.
it. Yeah, because there's
Well, and he's kind of not in the industry that much
correct.
anymore. He's into, like, cooking and stuff,
Yeah,
and she's kind of into her whole lifestyle blog
correct.
life of it all.
Yep. Like I said, 90s actors and actresses that are like, "I made my coin. I'm just gonna focus on what makes me happy now."
Yeah, and I feel like the industry, from what I hear, is so different than what it was in the
Yeah,
90s. So a lot of people are like, I don't want to be that famous because that sounds exhausting.
exactly. Oh, with social media and everything, I feel like it's definitely taken a toll.
Oh my god, like, I think about certain actors, I'm like, how different would their careers have been if they had had to deal with social
Social
media
media,
when that was
correct.
like, oh my god.
100.
I'm really happy that social media was not really happening yet when I was in high
Same.
school. Like, it kind of like
It would have
at the
ruined.
tail end of high school, it was
Same.
sort of starting.
Yeah. 100%.
I don't like that. That's
Yeah.
scarier than any movie.
That would be a yeah. Take a whole bunch of millennials in their late 20s and 30s and, put them back in high school where social media exists.
Oh my
Now that's a
god.
scream. That's a scary movie.
Oh my god. So, what would you say is the movie that scared you the most when you were, like, younger? It could be even be up into, like, adolescent, pre-teenage, but, like, because I know what mine is, if you want me to go first.
Yes, you go first because I have to dig.
I can distinctly remember how terrified I was of this movie, like, if even commercials for it came on TV,
If
I
I
would have to
laugh,
turn the channel.
please don't make
Um,
fun of me.
say what?
If I laugh, don't hate me.
Oh, it's fine, but I'm just saying at the time, I was, like, 11, and it was the scariest movie I'd ever seen. I remember the first time I saw The Blair Witch Project. And I saw it before they did the retraction of, "Oh, by the way, this is not actually a documentary, we've been fucking with you," because people didn't understand the internet at that point, so they thought, "No, it's real because there's a website you can go
Yeah,
to that shows the police reports and blah,
correct.
blah, blah, blah." And so I remember seeing that movie and thinking, "We have seen evil happen
Yeah,
on that tape, like, evil exists,
yeah,
there's a witch to kill people in that woods." And, yeah, that movie scared the fuck out of me. Like, I couldn't
100.
when I was going to sleep at night, I couldn't look in the corner of my room for, like, 2 months after I saw that movie, or else I wouldn't fall asleep.
Literally. I 100% agree. Because I remember I never watched it. This is funny. I never really watched it as a kid. Not really funny, but people when I say this, when the next sentence comes out of my mouth, people always giggle. I watched it with my girlfriend.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, in high school, and she wasn't a big scary movie person, and I was, and I was like, "Oh, it's on Netflix, let's watch it." I was like, "What the I don't even wanna drive alone at home." I was like, "I don't wanna go home. There's woods around your house," like, it fucked
Oh,
me
I grew up in a house that was, like, in the country, so it was
safe.
even scarier.
Well, that's okay, so that's bringing me to okay, because Pet Sematary scared the shit out of me. It scared the shit out of me until I got older, and then I watched it, and I was like, "It's a big bug, like, what the fuck?" But I have to say, one movie that really, mind fucked me because of where we lived, especially, we lived on a dairy farm, and on one side, we had cows, in the back of us, we had woods, and on the other, side, we had cornfields. So Children of the Corn
Oh,
I
yeah, I get
couldn't.
that.
I couldn't like,
Yeah, there were lots of cornfields in my,
oh,
area as well.
my mom would joke and be like, "If you don't do your homework, Children of the Corn are coming," and I'm like she'd be like, "Can you take the trash out?" And I'd be like, "Hell no. It's dark outside. I can see they're gonna come get me." And there used to
We had a compost pile that you had to go, like, about
hell
10
no.
steps into the woods to get to, and oh god.
I couldn't. Yeah, I don't know, and I think it's specifically because we lived in that house and there was corn everywhere, and even to get to because there was, like it was rural country, so to get to
Mhm.
different places, like, there was a pond that we would go to and everything like that. You had to walk through the cornfield. I would literally run, put my head down. I was so happy when it wasn't harvesting season and they cut it all down because then you could see.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Haha, bitch, where's the children of the corn now?" But when that shit sprouted back up, I was like, "Nope." But now I'm
Where did you grow up?
I grew I grew up and you have to Google it probably. Blackshear, Georgia?
Okay. I grew up in, Carthage, North Carolina.
Oh, that sounds like a place where you get murdered.
Probably, people would never find you.
Yeah, well, that's how yeah. I grew up there predominantly and then in Callahan, Florida, and they're both very, hicky, small town, small-minded places.
Yeah.
So I yeah. Mm, I was living a horror movie. Like, I just
Oh my god.
that's I think why did we ever even go over why we love horror?
Oh, no. Did we ever Yeah, there we go. Great way to circle back.
Wait,
Why do you think you loved it?
I think I really did because growing up, it was racism, you couldn't be gay, like, it was
Mm,
very and so I always turned to movies and books and things to help me escape, but for a while there, because I grew up very poor, and so we didn't have cable or anything like that, so I turned to books. So my love of horror Goosebumps and R.L. Stein,
mm.
like Fear Street and stuff. I loved that. But then when we did get some cable and stuff here and there or whatever, I'd watch Buffy and Charmed and all, and then so it just grew from there. But it was a great escape because I was like, my life is shit, so I want to watch this. And there's something weirdly therapeutic. I don't know about murder I don't know, like something dark. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, like, if I wanna laugh, I'll watch a comedy. If I wanna feel sad, I watch a drama, but if I just wanna, like, zone out from the world and wanna feel like, Scream can make me feel all the feelings. I and, like
Yeah, and also, I remember I read an article once that said that a reason why people also enjoy horror movies is because it can take you on a similar endorphin rush that like a roller coaster would in a different, I mean, obviously in a different way,
Yep.
but it gives you that same sort of euphoria
Yeah.
when you've like survived the scary plot line and it's like, oh, it's finished, you know.
Yep.
So maybe that's it. It was like, yeah, escapism. For me, it was probably like escapism plus, yeah, there probably was something about the thrill of getting scared and
Yeah,
it being like a little world I was in for a while.
correct. Yeah. No, totally get that because I don't wanna ride roller coasters now because I get motion sickness. Because 'cause
Oh, I hate roller coasters.
I
They
used to
literally scare the fuck out of me.
I used to love them so much, but then Final Destination 3 came out and
Oh god.
it
Oh,
ruined it.
Final Destination, the first movie, has made me still be afraid of flying. Like ever since I
Yeah.
saw that.
Oh, I've never flown. But that's yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Not because of that.
I haven't flown much, but I have flown a little bit.
Yeah, I couldn't. Log trucks, no ma'am.
Oh,
We're moving away from I love how every time I say, "Yeah," it's like, "Yes, I know."
oh, I know. I'm confirming, bitch.
I know, it's like you understand me. If I talk to somebody that doesn't like horror movies, like, they're like, "What?"
No, I
I'm
gotcha.
like, "Get out
No,
of
I
here, dude."
gotcha. Yeah, I was into yeah, I guess when I think about it, I was into a lot of fantasy stuff when I was a kid too, because I was into Buffy, I was into Charmed,
Mhm.
I was into like even like sci-fi-ish. I remember I loved The Fifth Element. I thought that was great. Not a horror movie, but
Yeah.
just a side note.
Yeah, it's
So I guess it was probably like an escapism thing.
yeah.
And eventually I would say I'm still a horror fan, but I don't obsessively watch like every new one that comes out like I used to when I was younger. Cause now like I've actually never seen the Insidious movies. Like there's a few that have like slipped through my cracks for sure.
Wow. Okay, so Insidious, let me tell you, the tea. I saw that in theaters, and and it was crazy because it was me and a whole bunch of people from high school. We went, and I actively sobbed and cried and was like, "I don't wanna watch this anymore. This is too scary, guys." Like,
Oh my
I
god.
was ready to leave. Me and this other girl, I'm not gonna say her name because I don't wanna, like, call her out like that. We were holding each other ready to, like, peace out and leave.
Oh my
But
god.
then we rented it, like, a couple months after it came out on a DVD, Redbox, and we got it and
Hmm.
watched it, and I was like, "This isn't even that scary." Like, I don't
Wow,
so I
weird.
think it was, like, being in a dark room and, like, the sounds and everything. So a couple things have been like, The Woman in Black, I watched in theaters and thought it was scary, then I watched it on DVD or whatever it was, Netflix, whatever. I was like, "This isn't as scary as I thought it was gonna be." Like, I don't know, I think it's the surround sound that really gets me when I'm in theaters. But Insidious
Oh
is
yeah, oh
so
definitely.
good.
It's funny how when you're younger, you can love a movie and think it's, like, so great, and then 'cause I remember they made a sequel to Urban Legend called Urban Legend's Final Cut, and it was set at a film school,
Oh, yeah,
and
I've
I
seen
remember,
yeah.
I went to see it in the theater, and I loved it, thought it was the best movie in the world, and then by the time I bought it, when it came on DVD, I put it in the DVD player and watched it, and I thought, "Is this the movie I
Yeah.
watched?" Like,
It's like,
I liked
"What?"
this movie.
Yeah,
So I think the thrill of seeing a movie in the theater, like, even a bad horror movie, can make it seem
exactly,
better
and
than
that's
it
how
is.
have you ever seen, though, a movie that was, like, so, so, so bad, though? 'Cause I've had one in
Oh,
particular
like, just I as I was watching, I'm like, "This is
horror movies
awful."
yeah.
Oh, for sure. Like, I was gonna say the main reason I don't watch a lot of horror movies anymore is because I have so many disappointing
Mhm.
experiences now when I watch new horror movies. Where I'm like, well, that's dumb. Like,
Yeah,
case in point, I loved The Conjuring. I even loved The Conjuring 2. But when they made the movie The Nun,
so bad.
that movie was so bad. I literally laughed at
We
the
were
climax where
laughing.
you're supposed to be screaming. I was
Yes.
dying of laughter.
We saw that in theaters, we were so
Ugh,
pissed, so pissed.
I did not see it in the theater. I would have been very
Oh,
upset.
we were so upset, we thought about but there I'll never forget the time me and a group of friends went and saw Don't Be Afraid of the Dark.
I haven't seen that actually.
People were getting up and leaving and asking for their money back. It
Oh
was
god.
so bad. The little creatures that were supposed to scare you were
Yeah.
so cute. I was like, "Oh my god, those are so cute." Everybody was like, "Oh," when they were, like, beating one to death. We were like, "Oh, no," and, like, you're supposed to be like, "Oh, yeah, kill it," like, it's a mean and I was just like, "Oh."
That reminds me, when I was a kid also, I loved the Gremlins movies, even though they're almost low-key horror movies,
Yeah,
but they just happen to be PG enough to be a kid's
yeah,
movie. But,
exactly.
like, the first Gremlins movie, there's a terrifying scene where the mom is, like, home alone and, like, one of the gremlins is in the house, and it scared the fuck out of me when I was a kid.
I feel like, another movie that scared the fuck out of me, even though it wasn't horror. Did you ever see that movie? Oh, what was it? The Toy Soldier? Where, like, the
Toy
toys come to
Soldier?
life and they
No.
literally attack
Oh
children. And, like, I don't know why that
god.
scared me, and I was like, "How is this?" I wanna say, if I'm not mistaken, who was it?
What was it about? Maybe I'll know what you're talking about.
Um, I remember a boy he got, like, a G.I. Joe action figure or
Mhm.
something like that, and then
Oh, wait, is it ac it's not a horror movie, right? It's just
it's
really
not, yeah.
freaky?
It's like a
Is it called Toy Soldiers?
yeah.
Was
I
Kirsten Dunst in
Kirsten
it?
Dunst, that's who it was that I was thinking
Okay,
of.
yes. Okay, yeah, yeah, I've seen that.
Oh, okay, good.
Oh, yeah.
That scared
See, no, yeah, so Small Soldiers. Yeah, because that movie, yes, it's not a horror
Small
movie, but it's
Soldier, yeah,
pretty yeah, it's pretty terrifying.
it is. Okay, it came out in 1998. I was right.
I was for some reason still thinking of horror movies and forgot that
Yeah,
you
you're
said
like,
no, but it's actually
"What?"
not a horror movie.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. But I
Oh,
knew
no,
I
you're
was
fine.
like, "I wanna say it's Kirsten Dunst," but yeah, it was
Yeah.
that freaked me out though when all the dolls came to life and, like, wrapped around her and drug her to the ground, and
Oh god, yeah.
"Oh my god."
It was no, it was freaky. That was, like it was, like, it was, like, the Gorgonites.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah. Oh,
yeah.
it was so campy. I loved it though.
Oh god, yeah, I I haven't thought about that movie in a long
Probably
time.
yeah. I just couldn't remember the correct name of it.
So, before we go to break, what have been some of your highlights of, like, newer horror movies? Like, the past, like, 10 years or so?
Okay, let me think. Okay, I definitely Midsummer,
Yes.
amazing. Um,
Yeah, that and Hereditary are
See,
just, like,
everybody says that we should
amazing.
watch that, and I want to, but
Have you not watched Hereditary?
no. And everybody's like, "You need to
Oh.
watch it."
Oh, it's will fuck you up. It
I
is a
know.
really
So did
it's
Midsummer.
really good.
Yeah, but I'll talk about Midsummer a little bit later because I have that as another thingy. But
Yeah, sure.
gosh, it's really because I am admittedly one like we watch probably a horror movie every night, like to go to bed. So
Alright.
yeah, it's
Me and
really
my roommate watch them from time to time. I've been craving horror movies again, so I'm gonna start watching just even some trash ones just
yeah,
to
that's
watch
what
them.
yeah, the trash ones sometimes. Oh, one that really surprised me, and I was like, that was really fucking good. And it came out a few years ago. It's called Don't Hang Up. And
Don't hang
it
up.
has gosh, what's his name? He was in Sulkin or something like that. He was in Where's the River?
Greg Kinnear?
Mm,
Is he an older actor?
no, 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 no. They're all young.
Oh, okay. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, they're young. They're like this generation of
Alright.
yeah. He's probably like 12. Don't hang up. Let me see. Don't hang up. But it came out in 2016. Yeah, Greg
Oh.
Sulkin is
Oh, I definitely never saw that.
and Garrett Clayton. These are all Disney babies. That's why.
Garrett Clayton, oh my god.
So the whole premise of it is these three teenage boys are they pull pranks on people and they call them and
Mhm.
go through like horrible situations, like lying to them, like, "Oh my god, there's somebody in your house," blah blah blah, blah. And it's really fucked up and shitty. And
Yeah.
so somebody finally has enough and plays that game on them, but like is like
Oh, sh
truly murdering and like it was so good. It was like
oh god.
we were
I
like,
gotta watch that.
yeah, we thought it was gonna be like one of those that you're like, yeah. It was
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
really good, and the acting was surprisingly really good, and
Wow.
yeah, the I really fall in love with stories now, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, this is really good," and
That was me with Hereditary. I won't spoil it, but, like, out of that and Midsommar, it's definitely, I think, the better movie of the 2, even though I did love Midsommar,
yeah,
but it just, like it I won't spoil anything, but it just does not go anywhere in the neighborhood of where you think it's
yeah,
going from how it starts.
hmm,
And because the director did something that I think directors should do more, which is fuck with your audience more with your
yeah,
advertising. Like
no,
make them think that people are more prominent than they're supposed to be. Like a because my favorite example of that is Psycho. Because
oh,
when I
yeah,
was a kid, I remember watching Psycho and I obviously didn't know the ending or anything, and you totally think that Nora McCrane is the lead of that movie. And
exactly,
so when she just dies 30 minutes into the movie, I remember being a kid and be like, wait,
happened.
what?
Yeah,
Then what is the movie about now? Like it's yeah, I wish people would just lean into that more.
that's how I felt about Scream when Drew Barrymore died.
No, exactly. Yeah,
I
because
was
you're like,
like,
whoa, because they
"Drew
put her
Barrymore."
in the center of the posters as if she was the star of the movie.
Exactly, I was just like, "What just
Yeah.
happened?" Like, oh. I will say,
Also, God, she acts the fuck out of that scene.
oh, she
Not to talk about Scream again, but
so
my God.
good. I know, it's so good.
And it was her idea to do that because they wanted her to play Sydney, and she was like, "I think it'd be more interesting if I played, her."
Yeah, I just love Drew Barrymore, period.
Same.
And oh, I just yeah, I it literally I'll say it again. It set the blueprint of like slasher,
Yes.
like the new wave, not the campy ones. Because Scream's a little bit
Yeah, because like, mid-90s slasher films had really gotten to, like, a low quality level, and that made them remember, "Oh, these can be actually scary and really smart and entertaining."
like it was comical. Like the
Yeah.
later Nightmare on Elm Streets and Friday the 13th, I was like, this is comical. Like this isn't.
Oh, yeah. It was so meta,
Yeah, 100%. And I
which is what I think everyone loves about it so
Yeah,
much.
correct. The last thing though that I can think of beside to break away from, because I feel like I've been talking a lot about like slasher movies because those are my favorite and stuff. So another type of, I guess, really thriller,
Mhm.
possibly horror question mark, the like shark movies and stuff like that.
Oh my God.
47
Like
Meters Down.
oh, yeah, like those types of movies. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
Those can be scary.
that was super scary. I mean, have you seen it?
No, but I remember I saw the trailer for it and I went, "Oh, good.
It
Ugh."
is. I don't know. I have a weird because I do like in at the end of the day, I do love slasher movies more than anything else.
Same,
But
yeah.
something about like that whole thing. So they're in Mexico, supposed to be having fun. And side note, Mandy Moore, okay, bitch, like
Oh my god.
love you. And they get in this cage, which I would never do shark diving like that. And
No,
it
never.
drops all the way down, and then they have to try to swim back up. It scared the shit out
Mm-mm.
of my dog.
Oh my
I
god.
don't think she's a fan of sharks. She was just like, "What?" Because there was a lot of music and then a lot of jump scares with sharks.
Oh god.
Like, looking, and she said, "No," and she went to the other room. She literally jumped up and was like, "No." And then there was a
Oh
second
my
one that came out. It was as equally as good, but I still like the first one. But movies like that where it's a fresh take on scary slash horror,
mhm.
where it's not the typical somebody's running around stabbing people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've
Well, stuff that's, like, realistic horror. I mean, obviously not, like,
yes.
a to but, like, stuff that realistically could sort of happen to
Right.
you. That kinda shit freaks me out.
Yeah, because like, how many times have you been in high school and heard like, "Oh, there's a mass murderer that's killing off
Right.
and yada yada yada," but like, "Oh, homegirl went on vacation, and got ate by a shark." Okay, that's believable, and that's
Oh.
really scary. It's like a real life, like,
Though, do you know what slasher movie did scare the fuck out of me? I mean, it's not that new anymore, but I remember when The Strangers came out. That movie was so scary because they have no motive. They're
Motive.
just doing it because they're sociopaths.
Yeah.
Like, that's terrifying.
The second one was like that too. And
I
oh
have
yeah.
see, I never watched the second one because I was afraid it would be
Oh
awful.
no, it's so good. But it's one of those
Oh god.
movies where we watched it and somebody dies off way too soon and you're like, "Oh my god, what the fuck?" It,
Mm.
I won't say who since you
Yeah,
haven't
yeah,
watched
yeah,
it.
yeah.
But me and my husband were
I guess I know someone dies.
yeah, oh no, spoiler alert, somebody dies in this movie. But we literally were like, they did not just kill X, Y, and Z off. Like, what the
Wow.
fuck? Like we were
Well, The Strangers, the first one was even just like they were so vicious with the main characters in a
yeah,
way that they usually aren't in horror movies. It was
correct.
oh god.
That's yeah.
Ugh.
I think that is scarier. Like, yeah, I love a good story on like I'm killing people because of X, Y, and Z. But when people are like, they were just doing it for the hell of it, that's
Yeah.
scary. That's a sociopath.
That's what I think makes the Halloween franchise so scary
Oh
because
yeah,
he's just
he's
killing
so obsessed.
people.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna get to Laurie Strode to kill her, and I don't care who gets in my way. Like, homeboy,
Yeah.
no rhymer. He's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna
And he like
go for
does not care.
it.
Like
Yeah,
he has no
no flex to give.
no empathy.
Yeah, that
Zero empathy. Oh god. Well, we're gonna take one more little break and then I'll have a game to play with you afterwards.
awesome.
And we're back. And in honor of this horror movie themed episode, I decided to play a little game of Marry, Fuck, Kill Horror Edition.
I'm ready for it.
I will be giving you three different men of the horror thriller genre, and you will have to, of course, choose one to marry, one to fuck, and one to kill. Which honestly, you probably want to kill all of these people in some way
Oh,
or the
okay,
other.
I was gonna say Ryan Phillippe, done.
Okay, Freddy Krueger,
Mm,
Jason,
mm.
Michael Myers.
Oh gosh, this is a hard one right off. Okay, automatically, because I can't fuck with pedos, would kill off Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, it's a good choice.
Yeah, he no ma'am. Um, I would fuck Jason. That
Mm,
would be a hell of a time. And then I would
oh my.
marry Michael Myers because who doesn't want to have a Halloween? I mean, he would be so in love with me. He's completely upset. Like, I could have a bad day at work and be like, Susan from accounting pissed me off. And he's like, done. Gonna go murder this bitch.
I'll go kill Susan from
I'll
accounting.
go kill Susan. Like, he would be so. And I mean, I feel like we could decorate for Halloween all year and just have a good time.
No,
Murder
that's
me.
sweet.
Happily ever after.
I like that for you.
Yeah. Love that journey for me.
Yeah. Okay, next category. These are all men of the Scream franchise. So Billy Loomis of Scream, Mickey of Scream 2, and Roman of Scream 3.
That's so hard.
They're all hot in a certain kind of way, I have to admit, back in the day.
Uh, gosh, this is really okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I would have to kill off. Who was it from the second? Mickey?
Mickey.
Yeah, he would. I would have to kill him off.
Yeah,
Didn't do
he's fucked. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he didn't do much for me. And then Roman, though, and I love that actor.
Yeah.
I would fuck him, and then I'd marry Billy
Mm.
Lewis.
Oh. Well, if Billy is like committed to you, he's really committed to you.
He's so committed too. Exactly. And I mean, he's the. I mean, he. Yes, I would have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about it.
Okay, next category. We have Leatherface, Pinhead, and Pennywise the Clown.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, it's getting freaky up in here.
Are we talking Tim Curry Pennywise? Are we talking Bill?
You can be whichever one you choose.
Okay, if it's Bill Skarsgård, I'm marrying him.
Oh wow.
Pinhead, I would kill.
Oh.
Yeah, because no, actually, I lied. I'd kill Leatherface because
I'd say I don't want to do nothing with Leatherface.
he probably gross. I totally and then Pinhead, I would I would have to,
Yeah,
like I could get, like, acupuncture at the same time. I don't know,
okay,
I'd
next.
marry Tim Curry. So either way, Pennywise would get married
Okay,
because, I mean
that's a happy ending for
yeah,
Pennywise.
exactly.
Okay, next category, we have Candyman,
Oh,
Hannibal Lecter,
oh,
and the Jigsaw Killer.
oh my god. Um, hmm, look. Okay, I would have to kill off, Hannibal Lecter because I just can't get down with that. Like, that makes anytime you watch a movie and, like, Silence of the Lambs is one where people eat, like, cannibal stuff, like, it
Yeah,
makes
when he's like cooking the guy's brain.
it makes my stomach hurt. Yeah, yeah, he's dead. Um, and then Jigsaw, I mean, he's really committed to you as well,
Yeah,
but he comes with a lot of baggage. So,
he does. He has a lot of issues to work out.
I feel like I would fuck Jigsaw and marry Candyman because
Okay.
Candyman, if you read really into it, is all about the social, like the social classes and everything like that. And he's for
Yeah,
people, so we could be married and kill
yeah,
those people off. Well, not me, but him.
yeah, yeah.
That's his-
His the people he cares about killing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And then last three, and these are all like ones I legitimately think are hot in their own ways. So we have Jack Torrance of The Shining,
Mm.
Norman Bates of Psycho, and Patrick Bateman of American Psycho.
Oh, this is a hard. Oh my god.
Yeah. I wanted to fuck Anthony Perkins as Norman Bates so bad when I was I thought he was
Well,
so hot.
the end. Oh my, that look.
And he's actually gay. The actor was gay in real life.
Yeah, so I'm about it. Oh, I feel
Yeah.
like I would. Yeah, I would. I would kill off Jack.
Yeah, he's gotta go.
I
He's
mean,
toxic.
yeah, I mean, so toxic, and I would just really. I mean, because Christian Bale, like,
My god. I mean, I would be fucking him. My god.
yeah,
But if you marry him, you get to fuck him all the time.
yeah, no, but I would kill him because who doesn't want to own a hotel?
I don't want to know that one.
Not that. I mean, I don't know.
And never go after a guy with like mommy issues.
But I have mommy issues, so
Oh my.
no. Well, I have daddy issues, so I mean, maybe we're a match made in heaven. Yeah, I would have to marry him just because he
Okay.
also again OG like yeah. But then I
Yeah.
don't know. It's so debatable because when you think about Psycho, like or American Psycho, you're always left at the end like, oh, you know what? I take everything back. I take it
Okay.
back. I would kill him off because I just
Ooh.
remembered he murdered a dog, and I don't.
Did he though?
That's the thing. But even if
I don't think he did.
I know, but still, I take it back. I take it back.
Okay. Well, fair, fair, fair.
I'm killing him because even if he didn't, he imagined it, and that's not. I'm not. Kill people all you want, but when you mess with animals that are helpless and
Yeah.
defenseless, I can't deal with that. But I hate that part of that movie too because you hear it. I just don't. I don't like.
Yeah.
So he's dead. I'm
Okay.
fucking Jack while all these ghosts watch and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
then marrying Norman.
Okay. There we go.
You're like, you're fucking weird.
Well, and yeah, and that was Mary Fuck Kill Horror Edition.
Yay.
Learned a lot about your type.
Yeah, my husband's gonna be like, oh, well, sleeping with one eye open.
So, wrapping up, are there any last minute recommendations?
What?
Just like things you want to highlight?
Yes, 100%. Found these movies that I've always seen like them advertised, but we never watched them.
Hmm.
We watched them, but they're one of those it's a trilogy and
Yeah.
it just keeps getting worse and worse. So the third one I
Hmm.
do not recommend. But there's three of them. It's called VHS. Have you
Oh, yeah. I heard about that.
girl? So it's one of those like Blair Witch Project moments where it's all done like self-recording. It's not,
Oh, like found footage.
yeah, found footage and stuff like that.
I get into found footage.
Same. Like we've been really I've been really big on that right now. But like VHS, the first, for those of you that don't know, that's a video. I don't even know what it stands for, but it it's like these guys are going, they're sketchy con artists or whatever, and they're going to break into this guy's house because somebody said we'll pay you if you get this tape back. We need this tape. But then they start watching these tapes, and there are five different tapes that have five different completely horror stories on it.
Oh,
And it just, oh my gosh, it was so good. The one of them was so good that they actually had a spin-off movie that we're gonna watch soon. And
oh
it's
my.
just, yeah. But you have everything. So you had one like that was a slasher, you had one that was like demon girl, like one that was like a ghost, and
Are they like movies within the movie?
kind of what it's like, it's kind of like I'm trying to think of like like they're just vignettes.
Is it like The Ring where it's just like a weird tape?
No, yeah, no, it's a full length, not a full length, like maybe 10-15 minutes a piece of like,
Hmm.
here's a story, here's a little snippet of
Oh
this.
shit.
Yeah, and then after they watch it, they're like, oh my God, like what did I just watch? And like, but then other shit goes down. But the second one was good too, but then the third one, we felt like, oh my God, it was so bad. And then they end up stabbing a
Oh
dog,
god.
and I was like, we're done. Yeah.
I hate. Oh my god, we were talking about this, me and my roommate. Whenever a dog shows up in a horror movie, I'm like, don't you fucking touch that dog.
Juju. Yeah, they stabbed it, and we were like, and it shows, no, it shows it.
Oh no, especially I remember when I was a child, there was this movie called Fear with Reese Witherspoon and Mark
Oh
Wahlberg.
my God, yes, and they, yeah. Oh, I
Yeah, and they killed it because they put the dog head through the dog door like he's coming inside, then suddenly they drop the head, and I was like
can't.
traumatized from that image. It
I,
was too much.
yeah,
Because we had a dog that looked a lot like that dog too, so I was like, "Oh my god, no."
does the dogdie.com is like my best friend when it comes to horror movies.
Is that a thing?
It's a thing, and it has all the movies, and like anytime we're watching a movie, as soon as a dog comes on screen, I pause it, Google, and it tells you, it'll say like, oh, this movie, nope, the dog doesn't die. Yes, the dog dies.
Oh,
And
wow.
we stop
It's called Does the Dog Die?
.com. Yep. It's
Wow, thank you for the education.
because I always, they go into other animals too, like, but I mean,
Oh, that's good to know because sometimes I'm on edge the whole movie because I'm worried about
yeah,
the dog and then nothing happens. I'm like, God, it's a waste of time on that dog.
exactly. That happened in, what was the movie? The Meg. Again, a shark movie. I don't know, maybe I have a fetish with sharks. Um,
I think you like shark
I
movies.
do. I actually do. I really do. Deep Blue Sea, loved that. Loved Shark.
I was into like, yeah, the animal horror movies. I remember being into Anaconda, even though
Oh my,
it's kind of comically bad now.
oh my God, it was so good. Oh, I used to love, because I biggest fear, snake.
Oh, I hate snakes. I hate snakes. I
100%.
hate snakes.
And any,
One time I was in my bathroom at my parents'
nope, say
house
that. Nope.
and they said, Zach, are you in the bathroom? And I said, yeah. They're like, oh, I'm just staying there for a second. I'm like, oh, okay. And I finally come out of the bathroom, like, what's going on? They're like, oh, nothing. There was a black snake that was in the laundry room next to the bathroom. And I'm like, oh my
I'm
God.
moving. Like, yeah,
So we're never sleeping in this house again.
exactly. Burn it down. Yeah, totally. But there was a dog in the Meg,
Hmm.
and you think like the whole time, but he's fine.
Oh,
We
good.
killed it. But hey, I do.
I like when they subvert the genre. They say, no, no, the dog's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was just, oh, I think it was the Meg. Now I've watched a lot of shark movies, but yeah, really best,
Apparently.
highly recommend. Um,
Are you into Sharknado?
no, no, no. If it's that far out there, and plus Tara Reid, I'm like,
I do say because my friend got into these because she listens to this podcast called How Did This Get Made, where it's about bad movies.
mhm,
You need to watch the lot because I haven't watched any of them but the first one. I did watch a little bit of the first one, but I watched the last one. It was one of the craziest film experiences I've ever had. And it's like so fully self-aware about what kind of movie it is.
yeah.
And I've never laughed so hard like lately. I recommend.
I might need to just watch it just to be like, this is.
I mean, it's so short. It's like an hour and 20 minutes. Like it'll barely take up any time.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah.
Like at one point, Tara Reid is like a robot head and she's shooting lasers from her eyes. And it's truly bonker balls. Insane.
Wow. That's, where is her Oscar?
I hated Tara Reid's scream in Urban Legend because she had the most obnoxious scream in the world. I could not stand it. Could not wait for her to die.
Yeah. Oh, now I'm gonna go watch Urban Legend because I
Oh, I love it. It has Jared Leto in it also. It's
Oh my god, I haven't seen it
lots of little
in
babies.
really a long, long time.
When I love when a horror movie turns out to have a female villain because it
Oh,
doesn't happen that often.
that's why I think I loved Scream 4 so much is I was like, "Ooh."
Well, my favorite part about Scream 2 is when you find out it's like Billy's mom is like the mastermind behind it.
And I was like, "Yes, bitch, fuck them up."
You killed my son. Like,
Great.
oh, this is great.
I loved it.
I remember this one read that Sydney has where she's Laurie Metcalf is doing her whole like monologue about her son. She's like, "You raise a child and you teach them and guide them," and Sydney's like, "And abandon them."
The library is
Oh,
open, Sydney.
I'm like, read her to film.
For really oh.
Love it. And also the original Friday the 13th, people always forget. Original killer,
But yeah.
not Jason.
Mhm.
That was like the gag when I was a
The guy
kid because I somehow didn't see the first Friday the 13th. I saw like a sequel with Jason.
yeah.
So I finally watched the original and I'm waiting for just Jason to show up and suddenly it's his mom and I'm like, "Oh, that's cute. It's his mom." And then
Yeah.
she's the killer and I went, "Oh, okay."
Oh, different. Yeah. I don't think it's funny because I don't even think that I think the first Jason movie I watched was Jason Goes to Space.
Oh my god, Jason X.
Jason X. Yeah, that's right. So bad.
Oh my god.
So
They talk about that on that podcast. You should if you haven't listened to it, it's called
okay.
How This Get Made. It's really hilarious. They talked about Jason X on an episode also.
Yeah, that's yeah. But I remember watching Nightmare on Elm Street, the first original one. It was the first one I saw. And Baby
Oh,
Johnny Depp. I mean,
oh god.
it was so good. So good. And that scared me.
And which one is the homoerotic one? Is it the second one?
Yes. Oh my god. And I didn't get it, of course, watching it young, but now I watch it, I'm like, "Ooh, girl."
There's a documentary about it that I want to watch. I can't remember what it's called, but it just goes into all of the other gay content of that film.
It was super gay. So gay.
Oh, love it.
So gay.
Yeah, I guess for me, like newer ones that I have liked the most, I think The Conjuring is about as solid of a horror franchise as you can kind of get. Like the third one was not quite as good as the first two,
No.
but I do feel like it's still pretty it's like well acted, they're like fairly well written, like they're okay. Like I've only been disappointed by the spin-off ones,
Correct.
honestly.
Yeah, The Nun was
'Cause
awful.
The Nun was awful. I didn't think Annabelle was that great. It's just,
I
that's like
think
hard stuff to get right.
yeah, Annabelle, the first one, like, there were parts that were good, but I
Yeah.
enjoyed now there's so many. Annabelle, I think it's the second one that they did.
Yeah. It was better.
Yeah, it was better. And then the last one that they Annabelle Comes Home was very meh.
Yeah, maybe has there been wait, I'm going insane. Has there been a Conjuring 3 or is there only been 2?
I think there is 3.
There is. I know it's I love these movies. I can't
Yeah.
movie.
Was it?
It's because I get them all confused. I'm like, wait, was that the third one or was that Annabelle Comes Home? Like, I honestly, yeah.
Whole timeline. Funnily enough, I didn't I knew Love Victor. The main actor, I was like, "He looks familiar."
Mhm.
He was in Annabelle Comes Home.
Oh, oh, that's what I'm thinking of then.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of for like Conjuring 3.
He's
Well, I guess we should save a little something because I will be appearing on your podcast also. Listeners, it will also be released today. So if you want to hear us talk about even more about the horror genre, you can head over to the podcast Sunshine Steven. But of course, we end every episode with a segment called The Last Actress Who Made You Feel Something, where I ask my guest, Steven, who was the last actress who made you feel something?
I had to think long and hard about this, but then I really
Hmm.
didn't because I kept going back to the same actress, and it just 'cause and I watched it I was late to watching Midsummer. It's Florence
Hmm.
Pugh, by the way. Um, I was late, like, a year late. Like, I just watched it in, like, February, I think March, April-ish time, and it
Well,
blew I was like, "This is beautiful, this is amazing."
yeah.
And I was like, "Well, I'm sure somebody else has done something for me since then." And I kept thinking back to it, and I was like, "No." And here's my reason to why she made me feel something. She was so good at portraying you felt sympathy for her. Not to
Yeah.
like the fucked up shit, like the first 10 minutes, like with her, the whole suicide and murder thing.
Yeah.
And then you have these dick guys that are like, ugh, we don't want her to come with that. And I'm like, seriously, dude, she just went through something
His
horrible.
friends are fucking awful.
Yeah. So when they started to get killed off, I was like, whatever.
Oh yeah, it's like oddly like therapeutic movie.
Yes, it is. And so like I'm not like, of course, I'm not like the number one thing that most psychopaths said. I'm not a psychopath. Like, I'm not, I don't control or anything. I'm not crazy. But the fact that at the end of the movie, where I'm rooting for her and I'm like, good for her,
Oh, when he burns up in that thing, I'm like, you know
I'm
what?
like
Fuck him.
tapping my finger. Good, fuck him. I'm happy. Like, you,
Well, but also the thing is, it's to me, it's not even like, oh fuck him. It's also like, dude, you kind of created this
you,
circumstance.
yes,
Like,
you were
if you had been there for her, she
correct.
wouldn't even be here right now, and this wouldn't be happening.
1000%. So the fact that I was able to put myself in her shoes and be like, oh, 'cause sometimes even when it's written to where you're like, you're supposed to feel bad for
Hmm.
happening, I'm always like, not real. This time I was like, nah, burn them up. I don't go fuck.
Yeah. So, do you want to tell the listeners where they can find you on social media?
Yeah, you can find me. It's all the same because I was lucky enough to have it all be the same. Sir
Hmm.
Stephen Rice on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That never happened. I'm even on TikTok, but no telling if that's gonna still be a thing. If the
Yeah, I'm like, might be dated in like a month.
yeah, like I can't even. Um,
We shall see. If it's what true is true, it's
y-
pretty gross.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, Sir Stephen Rice, and I honestly, to be 100%, I'm mainly on Instagram, but
Same. Oh, same
yeah,
there.
like Twitter.
I have a Twitter, but like no one goes to it, and I
Literally,
barely use it.
I think I have like 600 followers, but I just keep up.
Good for you, girl. I got like 80.
Yeah, I literally I use Twitter to look at tea and see like what's going on in the world, and then to
Oh, yeah, it's great for that.
like, okay, Katy Perry, when's your new album coming out? Like, what's going on?
Well, thanks for going into this half of our crossover episode on horror.
Talked so much.
All right, listeners, and I hope you've enjoyed the Sunshine Steven in Another World horror crossover party. And like I said, if you want to hear more of our conversation, head over to the Sunshine Steven podcast. And if I'm currently speaking to Sunshine Steven listeners that have wandered over this way, well, I would love to have you join the party over here on a consistent basis. So please subscribe for more content. And if you want to follow the podcast, you can follow on Instagram at In Another World Pod, or on Twitter at IAW Podcast, or you can find the Facebook group In Another World on Facebook. And I will see all of you lovely people here next time. Hope you watch a spooky movie tonight. Bye.